And we are now joined with one of the greatest fighters in the world at the moment. It is none other than Leon Edwards. We haven't heard from Leon for quite a while, but he has one of the biggest fights of the year coming up on December 19th. But there's a lot to talk about. First of all, Leon, how are you, my friend? Long time no hear.
I'm good. I'm good. We're in the middle of lockdown again, but my training's going good. I feel good, and I'm good. All good. How are you?
Oh man, not too bad, but all the better for talking to you as always. But I guess there's so much to talk about. But I gotta say, European fans would be killing me if I didn't say it. But you know,
Yeah.
a few weeks back, the news of you being removed from the rankings really pissed off a lot of European fans. To be honest, there was a lot of people very disgruntled. They felt you were, completely disrespected by it. And a few days later, you're back in the rankings, or even was it even a day? You were back in the rankings, and you have this. Yes, yeah. You're back in. You're back.
Same day. It was the
Same day.
We were in the middle of negotiations. Then they took me out of the rankings, and then straight away put me back in. So I couldn't tell you what happened with that.
It felt like for some people that nearly like a gun was head to your head, like figuratively, of course, about that fight with Khamzat, because it was immediately matched afterwards. Like, did you feel, a pressure to take that fight? Because obviously you were looking for guys at the top of the food chain just where you were. Like, was there a pressure for you to take that fight given the circumstances?
Nah, not really. Really, I could have sat out, wait, right? I'm kind of like, man, doing my own thing. I've called out all the so-called top guys. They all turned me down. So I thought, what's the next best option to get me into a title shot picture, or to give me a title shot next? You know what I mean? And I know Wonder Boy came out that he wanted to fight, and well, I was doing it for that. That was the fight to give me the push I need to get to a title shot. You know what I mean? And I believe going out there and beating this kid that everyone's high on, Dana's high on him, UFC is high on him. If I go out there now and smoke him, let's see what they can say. You know what I mean?
You mentioned Dana there, Leon. Has there been any direct dialogue with Dana at all over the last sort of 18 months between you and him? Because it seems like in the press conferences, numerous occasions he was asked about a fight for you over the pandemic, and they didn't really have much news.
No, not really. My management team has been in contact with the UFC since March, really, since the fight got cancelled. With Woodley, we've been speaking to the UFC, trying to get the best possible matchup to get me back in the position where I was, right? So, leading up to March, when I went out there, beat Woodley, I would have guaranteed title shot, if not number one contender spot. So we was kind of looking for the same kind of stakes, really, to fight again, and now here we are.
Was there ever a point where you were going, like, with all that went on, with obviously the rankings, as PT mentioned there, not being able to get a fight, not getting the opponents you want? Was there ever a point where you just like, sod it, I want out of the UFC?
Well, I want out of the UFC?
Yeah. Was there ever a point where it got to that stage in your mind?
Nah, never. I understand this is business, you know what I mean? And obviously the world went into a pandemic, and it was out of my control. Nothing I could do about it. So that never came into my mind. And I am close to my dream, to achieving being a world champion. And so, not really. That didn't probably.
It might sound like we don't like the fight with our first remarks here, but let me tell you, man, I cannot wait for that fight. I love it. I think it's brilliant. But one thing I gotta say is, did the UFC make a huge mistake here? You're putting in this guy who hasn't fought anyone near your level. You are taking out guys at the very top of the bracket, and now they've put them in with you. And I'm kind of thinking, this is crazy. If I'm the matchmaker, I'm keeping that guy as far away from you as I can. I'm building up the hype, and letting them come in like slowly into that title conversation. Did they make a big mistake by catapulting into him a Leon Edwards fight here?
I believe so. I think they're banking him in to win, but he got no chance against me. I truly believe I got there and I put on a masterclass against him. The one-dimensional fighter, you can come shoot for his life, and that's it. You know what I mean? So let's see how we deal with adversity. Let's see how he deals with getting pressured, getting taken down, getting hit. I mean, let's see how he deals with it in round 3, 4, and 5. So, I'm 29 years old. I'm going into my prime, and I cannot wait to go out there and showcase my skills.
Was there any part of you that was like, are these taking the piss? Like when they offer you a fight like that, you know, like as in the difference between you two guys? Because when you heard about it first, I was like, no way, you know? Was there any part of you that was like that?
Not really. Like I said, I'm looking for the biggest fight right now, and I choose for hype. As far as hype-wise goes, I think he is outside the champion. He's probably one of the biggest fights. No, don't you think?
Yeah, you're probably.
As far as hype goes, I don't think technically he's the best fight, but I think as far as hype goes, he's one of the biggest fight in this business for the way Dana's pushing him, for the way the UFC is pushing him. So I believe this fight gets him a title shot. But they've done this before. They've pushed guys before him. You know what I mean? Rushed them to the top and then they get beat. And I don't understand why they do this. They do it all the time. And as in boxing, they kind of like take time to build the stars, right? They give them like fight, and build them up. But for some reason, in the UFC, you get 1-2 good wins, and boom, just push you to the top and don't give you time to build it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way the UFC have worked over the years, and we've often criticised them for not promoting the right guys, such as you, Leon. But what do you think of his personality, Khamzat? You know, it's been a little bit mixed. I've seen a lot of people criticise him, but obviously there's been a lot of people getting behind the hype as well. What do you think of the brashness and his attitude and what he's been saying?
I understand his confidence, right? He's coming off what was it, 8-second knockout, wherever it was, knockout. UFC is getting. I was once in that position. I've had 8-second knockouts before, so I know how it feels to be in that position. I mean, so I understand his arrogance and the way he feels right now, but I think it's a totally different league, and I can't wait to show him. He's in a totally different ball game, and he's going to be good.
When I think about Khamzat's fight so far, Leon, and I've watched this guy, you know, since his pro debut nearly, because lads in Sweden were telling me all about him. And look, there's no denying he's a very good fighter. But I've seen in most of his fights, he's the guy backing people up. But then when I think about you and the level you fought at, you're always backing people up. You're constantly in people's faces. I have a feeling this is going to look very different than the fights we've seen so far. I mean, do you feel as though, you know, it's going to look a lot different, let's say, than the Khamzat we've seen so far, who's basically just walked across the cage and done what he's want to his opponent? Because I can guarantee already that will not happen when you fight him.
That 100% when it happened. You know what I mean? Look at the guys he's fought, bro. He's like 2 different levels. He's fighting like random people in Sweden, and now Kevin fight these guys in the UFC. You know what I mean? So, like I said, let's see how he deals with getting backed up. Let's see how he deals with getting punched in his face, getting taken down, getting out wrestled. So let's see how he feels. I mean, like, everyone's good on the front foot, which is what he is. He's a front foot fighter. So everyone's good when they're the bully. So let's see when I hack and he's getting bullied.
Yeah. Is there like an element of fun here for you, like taking on this guy that's like essentially the boogeyman of the division right now? You know what I mean? Like it feels like, and the fact that Dana seems to love him so much, right? Like, I mean, they're all pally at the Ortega zombie fight there recently. I mean, this is the company guy, right?
Isn't it? You're like sitting next to him in his lap, and where's the weird relationship? Well, it is.
Leon, can I ask you, and I think, you know, this is something we've talked about in the past, you know, at events and stuff like that, and on the show before, that maybe the UK fans haven't really got behind you, but it seems to be now they're finally sort of getting behind you from some of the online comments I've seen and comments on YouTube and stuff like that. Do you feel like the UK fan base are finally getting behind you now as well?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I can see my social media in the streets as well. I'm getting stuff way more, and so I believe they're realizing I'm the truth. You know what I mean? I've been saying it for years and years. And
did you see Leon, Joe Rogan watching that BT Sport clip of you by any chance? He was on with Luke Thomas last week, and Luke Thomas pulled the video up, and I was just reminded of the feeling I got when I saw it the first time, because it's a tremendous thing. But it was very cool to see Joe Rogan seeing this and kind of being taken through your story for the first time. And he's like, this is absolutely unbelievable. And that's where we were in March, right? And now we're coming up to December. I mean, it feels like, do you feel like your career has just been paused around like a week before that fight with Woodley was meant to go, and now we're fast forward 9 months later, and here we are back in a moment like that?
Exactly. I think, kind of. I've been working. You know what I mean? I've been chipping away and been working, and I didn't see the Joe Rogan thing. I have to go back and have a look at it. But like I said, coming into this year, I was guaranteed. The year was like mapped out for me, right? I was fighting Woodley at the O2, first main event in the UK. After beating Woodley, I would have fought for power shot or the one contender shot. That take is like, this year was mapped out for me. So now to finish it on a high note, I think it's all written in the stars. And I mean, for me to go out there now, and I was the first fight to get cancelled in the pandemic, and I'll be the last fight of the year. And
you know, the fact that this is 5 rounds, right? This is the last main event of the year, as you said. This guy hasn't been out at the first. That feels to me like a guy with an engine like you against this guy. I'm sorry I keep on saying this. These are all the things that are going through my head when I'm thinking about this fight all the time. But he could potentially look really bad if you drag him into deep water here. Like, I mean, I think that's something that nobody's thought about. Like, I mean, he could look... You know, a guy that hasn't been there with your caliber of fighter, and then to go that long. I mean, do you feel like that's the way it could go potentially, like in them late rounds?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's a fast start, right? So I think it starts fast, slow down, and I've been down on the scorecards and pulled the victory out in the 5th round, and I've got one of the fastest stoppages in the UFC. I got one of the latest stoppage in the UFC. So I've been dropped before in a fight, came back and won the fight. I've been taken down, came back, won the fight. You know what I mean? So let's see how he deals with adversity. Let's see how he deals when he's down on the scorecards and he has to stop me to win. You know what I mean? Let's see then. Everyone is good when they're on the front foot, right? Everyone's good when it's going their way, but let's see how he handles it when it's not going his way.
100%.
I just have one more for you, Leon, and I've been pondering this a lot. So say if you go in there and you hand Chimaev his first defeat, you go on to beat Usman, you are now the champion of the UFC. What is Jorge Masvidal going to say then when he's offered a fight with you?
He got run nowhere now, yeah? He's been running about 2 years. He's been running, making every excuse in the book. Oh God, let's see what his excuses now. Yeah, it has to happen, man. For me, it's a tall shot, and like he's not right there, like just below it, right, just to get my revenge. But I'm saying, tall shot, get tall shot first. Mm-hmm. He's ass up and it's coming, man.
Yeah, I agree. I
can't wait.
I don't think we want to see Usman and Masvidal run it back anyway again after that first fight. Yeah, Kobe, I don't understand why they're even mentioning that. You know what I mean? You got knocked out. How about less than what, like under a year ago, just over a year ago? So I just can't see why they're running one back. So. And there's definite guarantee that you're going to get the shot at with a win, yeah?
100% guaranteed. I wouldn't even fight without a tall shot. Let's go out there and beat this guy and come out with. I wouldn't even entertain it. So I'll prove my. I'm on 8. I'll be what 9 fight win streak, right?
Yeah.
After I got him, this kid.
That's brilliant, Leon, man. It was a pleasure to speak to you again. I can't wait for this fight. I really can't. And I really, really hope that you end the year on a strong note, because you deserve to have an amazing 2020. And I know that you're going to have an amazing 2021. So thank you so much, Leon.
Appreciate it, Leon.
All the best, sir.
Hello, guys. If you want to hear more of The Bash, you can subscribe to us on all our wonderful channels on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and all that other shit.
And click the links below. Click the links below, the notification button. It comes straight to your phone if we've any fresh content. And also hit the subscribe button. It does help. You're some plonker.
It's very serious.